can we finish by talking a little bit about fear and how to overcome it? And I feel like you have spent a lot of time there, but Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk and has written several books, including this 2012 book called Fear, Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm, is really an extraordinary man. And I was lucky enough to spend a couple of weeks with him back in high school, actually. I had a creative writing teacher, Peter Levitt, who was a poet and also a Buddhist, who invited me to this retreat at this school where we met, actually, where we were friends at the time. And it was otherwise filled. I was by far the youngest person there. It was filled with beat poets and an occasional ceramicist and painter, and me, this high school kid, aspiring writer at the time. And Thich Nhat Hanh, who I had never heard of before, and he led us. This is at a retreat center in Ojai, California. He led us in 3 sitting and 1 walking meditations every day for 2 weeks, and we slept in tents and did our art, our writing, and cooked together. And in some ways, it was. I think it actually helped me form my idea for field trips later on when we would be, when both of us came to teach as professors at Evergreen. But just a very brief 2-page excerpt from this book in a chapter called The Opposite of Fear. 2 little sections. Deep listening and loving speech. When communication is cut off, we all suffer. When no one listens to us or understands us, we are like bombs ready to explode. Compassionate listening brings about healing. Sometimes only 10 minutes of listening deeply can transform us and bring a smile back to our lips. Many of us have lost our capacity for listening and using loving speech in our families. It may be that no one is capable of listening to anyone else, so we feel very lonely even within our own families. We go to a therapist hoping that she will be able to listen to us, but many therapists also have deep suffering within. Sometimes they cannot listen as deeply as they would like. So if we really love someone, we need to train ourselves to be deep listeners. We also need to train ourselves to use loving speech. We have lost our capacity to say things calmly. We get irritated too easily. Every time we open our mouths, our speech is sour or bitter. We have lost our capacity for speaking with kindness. Without this ability, we cannot succeed in restoring harmony, love, and happiness. In Buddhism, we speak of bodhisattvas, wise and compassionate beings who stay on earth to alleviate the suffering of others. The bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, also called Kuan Yin, has a great capacity for listening with compassion and true presence. Kuan Yin is the bodhisattva who can listen and understand the sounds of the world, the cries of suffering. You have to practice breathing mindfully in and out so that compassion always stays with you. You listen without giving advice or passing judgment. You can say to yourself about the other person, I am listening to him just because I want to relieve his suffering. This is called compassionate listening. You have to listen in such a way that compassion remains with you the whole time you are listening. That is the art. If halfway through listening, irritation or anger comes up, then you cannot listen deeply anymore. You have to practice in such a way that every time the energy of irritation and anger comes up, you can breathe in and out mindfully and continue to hold compassion within you. No matter what the other person says, even if there is a lot of injustice in his way of seeing things, even if he condemns or blames you, you continue to sit very quietly, breathing in and out. If you are not in good shape, if you don't feel that you can go on listening in this way, let the other person know. Ask your friend, Dear one, can we continue in a few days? I need to renew myself. I need to practice so that I can listen to you in the best way I can. Practice more walking meditation, more mindful breathing, and more sitting meditation to restore your capacity for compassionate listening. Walking with the Sangha. One wonderful thing to do with your community is walking meditation. When we are physically active together, moving, it is easy to feel supported by the collective energy. It is good to begin your practice of walking meditation with a group to get the support. You can ask a friend to go with you, or you can even take the hand of a child and walk with him or her. To practice mindful walking on your own, you can begin by making a contract with a staircase. You vow that you will always go up or down that staircase mindfully with very solid steps. If it happens that halfway up you realize that one of your steps didn't have your true presence in it, you go down and begin again. You can end up on that staircase a very long time. If you can do it successfully with that staircase, then wherever you go, you'll be able to dwell in the present moment. You also can make a contract with a particular distance, perhaps from your work area to the restroom, and vow that when you walk that distance, every step will be solid and mindful. Otherwise, you will go back and do it again. It's a wonderful way to learn how to live every moment of your daily life deeply, resisting being carried away by your habit energy. Walk with your feet, not with your head. Bring your attention to your feet and walk. Walk in such a way that joy and real life are possible right here and now. When we do walking meditation as a group, we produce a collective energy of mindfulness and peace that nourishes us and helps heal us. So that's obviously in a language that we don't tend to use between us or here on DarkHorse, but I think he is approaching through Buddhism what I in particular have approached, having learned from him when I was very young, through animal behavior. The act of going outside, of being present in your body, of understanding that you are a physical being with instantiation in the real world, and observing without interpretation as much as possible. Be in your body first. And this isn't something that you will be doing all the time, and it will get in the way of analysis and interpretation and creativity to some degree, but especially when you're hot, when you're emotionally hot, as I think almost all of us are, at least sometimes now, given what is going on, being able to return back to self and physical reality and breathing and trying to just observe or hear or be in a place without interpretation is a way to reduce fear.
Yes, I think it's excellent. And tuning into your environment and tuning into others who are tuned into their environment is, in some sense, the antidote. And, as is so often the case with Buddhism, it takes a while to figure out why the approach is what it is and what the deeper point is. But once you see it, it's universal. And I guess we're not getting to sea stars. We're going to have to do that next time.
We're going to have to save sea stars for
We're
next time.
We're going to save sea stars. Okay, So I guess in light of your reading, I would like to say something to our audience that I said to my class the last time I met with them.
Ever.
Before we were forced to leave Evergreen. We were in a public park, actually. And what I said to them was, pay very close attention to what is happening. I don't think we will pass this way again. And I think that's where we are. Something utterly dramatic is afoot, and how it comes out, we do not know, but it certainly makes sense to note everything because this is history happening.